Hi, welcome back. We're at the next part of our little mini Shakespeare course, still looking at meaning a little bit, but today what I want to focus on is one particular element that's so important in Shakespeare. It's a device that Shakespeare uses all the time, and you need to watch out for it, and that's antithesis. In order to generate Shakespeare's meaning or to identify a lot of the meaning, it's often essential to be able to note the antithesis in the phrasing. Antithesis is the setting aside each other of two different words, concepts, ideas, however you want to think about it. The most famous line in all of Shakespeare is a piece of antithesis: to be or not to be. Now, there you've got two things being set against each other: to be or not to be. And the whole speech will be about comparing these two states, these two elements, these two ideas. And this is used so frequently that it's something that's a fundamental part of performing Shakespeare. Now, the example that we're going to look at is about the first half of a speech that takes place in Midsummer Night's Dream, Act 1, Scene 1. I'd like you to go, for those who want to follow this, looking at the words rather than looking at my mug, go to the end of Act 1, Scene 1 of Midsummer Night's Dream. And we're going to see a speech by Helena. Again, students who I've taught Shakespeare to in the past may have come across this one before. It's been something that sometimes will occasionally be used in class. So yeah, follow. Just you can skip this one, guys, if you know this one. Okay, so I will just read as far as we're probably going to have a look, which is Helena Speech. Again, pause this and go and find this piece of writing if you can, so that you're looking at it as I'm speaking. So the speech is: how happy some our other some can be. Through Athens I am thought as fair as she. But what of that Demetrius thinks not so. He will not know what all but he do know. And as he errs, doting on Hermia's eyes, so I, admiring of his qualities, things base and vile, folding no quantity, love can transpose to form and dignity. Okay, we'll just go that far. Quite a difficult piece to read, and because I'm sure you've noticed already, this is in not just in verse, it's in rhyming couplets. Now, one of the big pitfalls with rhyming couplets is it's become so easy, without picking up on meaning and without a commitment to meaning, to end up delivering every single line in the same rhythm and the same way. How happy some are, other some can be. Through Athens I am thought as fair as she. But what of that? Demetrius thinks not so. He will not know what all but he do know. And that's helping no one if you deliver it like that. We'll obviously speak about how to use verse and how to lean into the pentameter on another video. But what we're doing here is antithesizing. Okay, so first clause, how happy some our other some can be. So what are we comparing? And what you do on your script is if you just get circles and connect them like they're a pair of spectacles, or two bubbles that are connected, maybe in different colours, as you'll eventually see, they start to cross over each other. So how happy some our other some can be. So what two things are we comparing? We're comparing some with other some. Some people and other people. Some people are happy and some people are not happy. How happy some our other some can be. Now, without using the inflection of comparing those two things in your voice, you're not adhering to the meaning of what you're saying. How happy some or other some can be. Through Athens I am thought as fair as she. Again, that's the next clause. I am thought fair, she is thought less fair. The two things being compared, I and she. Through Athens I am thought as fair as she. But what of that? Demetrius thinks not so. So here we've got over multiple clauses, which is where it gets really tricky, different things being compared, because here not only do we have I and she being compared, Helena and Hermia, we have Athens and Demetrius. Through Athens I am thought as fair as she, but what of that? Demetrius thinks not so. He will not know what all but he do know. Now we've got two sets of antithesis just in this one line. He will not know what all but he do know. So we've got he being antithesized with all but he. Again, Demetrius and all Athens, really, but it's in the wording of this phrase. He, all but he. Not know is being compared with do know. He will not know what all but he do know. How happy some or other some can be. Through Athens I am thought as fair as she. But what of that? Demetrius thinks not so. He will not know what all but he do know. And then we've got some more, a little bit more complex again this time. And as he errs, doting on Hermia's eyes, so I, admiring of his qualities. Now that is a complete clause. I've seen this so many times. Because of that so I, it feels like an incomplete phrase. And as he errs, doting on Hermia's eyes, so I, admiring of his qualities, as if it's going to carry on and then it doesn't. But no. It's as he errs, E-R-R-S, as in make an error, as he makes a mistake, so I, admiring of his qualities, so, as in so do I. So the thing here that's being compared, or one of the things, is he and I. His mistake, he errs, and I err. Doting on Hermia's eyes, so I, admiring of his qualities. So, the other thing being set against, because we've got doting and admiring, which in this case means the same thing. So the other things that are being compared are the things that make him err and me err. And the thing that makes him err is Hermia's eyes, and the things that are making me err are his qualities. So Hermia's eyes and his qualities also antithesized. And as he errs, doting on Hermia's eyes, so I, admiring of his qualities. Things base and vile, folding no quantity, love can transpose to form and dignity. So things base and vile are being compared to love. And what happens with things that are base and vile? Folding no quantity, and love transposed to form and dignity. So quantity versus form and dignity also being antithesized. So we've got about, I don't know how many that is, about 10 ideas being antithesized just in this little bit of speech, little passage of text. But you have to identify, and again, there's other things that we can do with this passage, but I'm just going to leave it at this here, because antithesis is such an important idea. So let's just go through this again. How happy some or other some can be. Through Athens I am thought as fair as she. But what of that? Demetrius thinks not so. He will not know what all but he do know. And as he errs, doting on Hermia's eyes, so I, admiring of his qualities. Things base and vile, folding no quantity, love can transpose to form and dignity. And that there's more in this speech, and I would say you can use that as an exercise, but we're going to wrap that up there, because that's probably enough to get a base idea of what that is. So setting two eyes up against each other, each idea is this thing and this thing. I could do this, or I could do this. I could describe this person this way, or I could describe them that way. I could now choose to go over there, or I could choose to go over there. All of these things are wrapped up, and this is used so frequently in Shakespeare that it is essentially its own approach and acting technique to identify those things, and it's a part of the meaning making. Anyway, I'll catch you on the other side. All the best. Stay safe.